Which lessons can you have after this game and after the three first game of this tournament?
Well, I think we can take many lessons. We take one negative, which is one big negative, is Timothy Castagne will miss the rest of the tournament, and that's probably the only negative note that we can take. 3 wins, 3 very professional performances, very different, the opponents, from playing Russia and Denmark in front of their fans, but very different styles. And then the Finnish team today, that they could make history with a draw. That's going to set up a different challenge. I was delighted with the professional attitude of every player, especially off the ball, because in these games you cannot concede a goal. The moment that you allow one chance, and the movement of the 2 Finnish players up front are very, very good, then the game becomes impossible. So we adapted well. The first half we were almost there without having our normal fluent football. You have to congratulate Finland, the way they defended. And then until we got the first goal, that changed completely. But delighted that we saw Michy Batshuayi and Christian Benteke and Hans Van Aken. We saw the debut starting of Leandro Trossard, out of position. Jeremy Doku, young age, but ready for this level. And then a real example of Thomas Vermaelen to show anyone what you need to do when you are in a major tournament.
Okay, thanks. Ludo van der Wallen. Nieuwsblad. Want a drink?
Roberto.
Hi, Ludo.
Hi, Roberto. Can you tell us why you put Leandro Trossard on the right side, a position where he seldom has played, I think, or perhaps never?
Well, the answer is because we were a bit short in wing-back roles. As you know, Timothy Castagne, been injured, is left us a little bit short. Torgan Hazard with his injury for this game. It was a good opportunity to try Leandro, especially because in training he showed an incredible understanding of the role and the understanding with Jeremy Doku. That's a role that you have to play really well on song with the number 10 in your side. And I felt that was a very good partnership. And even though it's not a natural position, today he was really focused on making an impact, and I think it did really well in that respect. But the reason of playing on the right-hand side is because the way he trained showed that he had a real understanding of that role, a real connection with Jason Denayer, and a real connection with Jeremy Doku.
Okay, Ludo.
Okay, thank you.
Alexis Sontan van AFP.
Hi, Coach.
Hello.
You said you want your team to progress at every game. What are the next steps for your team? How can your team grow up in the future?
Well, I think you get better as a team when you get better as individuals at this level. So if every player can get minutes, if every player can be part of the team, if every player can have a clear idea of the roles on the pitch, develop good partnerships, good understanding, that's where you become better as a team. I think this team has been very consistent over the last 5 years, and it's just a matter of getting every individual in this period that we have at this very, very best. Now you got steps that they are very clear. We're playing in Sevilla. It's going to be hot. It's going to be in a slow pitch. We need to adapt to it, and we need to have every player prepared to make the team better. And that's a focus that we're going to have in the next 5 days of preparation.
Okay, more questions for Roberto Martinez? Please raise your hand. I don't see anyone for the moment. There is Yuri Delacour, Belga. Yuri.
Hi, Coach.
Hi, Yuri.
How pleased are you with the performance of Eden, Kevin, and Axel, who start the game and they play 90 minutes?
I was delighted because if you would have told me before the tournament started, when we started our first friendly against Greece, if you would have asked me what points you're going to get after the first 3 games, one of them would have been try to get 9 points. Second would have been try to get all the injured players back into playing terms. And at that point Axel was not involved in any of the 2 friendlies. Kevin De Bruyne was not involved in any of the 2 friendlies. And Eden had the introduction of 8 minutes against Croatia. So clearly today, to be able to see 90 minutes on Axel and Eden, and the time that Kevin was on the pitch was almost the demands of 90 minutes, I was very satisfied. If on top of that, you look at every outfield player he's been on the pitch in these 3 games, is the perfect moment to go forward to the next game. One big negative, which is the miss of Timothy Castagne, that I want to send my best wishes to him from here, and that we miss him. But overall, I'm delighted on what we achieved in the first 3 games.
Okay. We have Ludo van der Wallen again with a question for Roberto. Ludo?
I think is the margin of progression for Eden Hazard still to make? How much percent? 10%, 20%?
I think it's the accuracy, and the accuracy is part of the talent. So I'm not worried at all. What I'm delighted is that he pushed himself. He got in good positions. He's almost a player that he looks free. To me, it's the first time I've seen Eden Hazard turning, twisting right and left. There is not one worry in my mind that he feels strong, he feels happy, his body is reacting well. And then over the next aspect is to see Eden with that final pass, with that shot that he finishes in the back of the net. But as I say, the chances are there. I thought he was almost there in the first half and in the second half. So delighted with his performance. The next step will be the accuracy, and that doesn't come from hard work. That comes from his talent. So probably that's a little bit that we can leave to himself.
Okay, before the voice completely disappears, I have one more and then we stop. Christoph Franken.
Appreciate that. I could do sign language.
And Mr. Martinez,
Christophe,
we see
on t'entend pas. Yeah, maintenant oui. Oui. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We saw a very good Jeremy Doku. Is it a real concurrent now for the next game for Dries Mertens? Is it the biggest concurrence for you in your head?
No. At this point, you can see that Jeremy Doku brings something completely different than any other player in that forward line. The same way that Dries Mertens brings something completely different. He appreciates the space. He can play in between lines. Jeremy is a sensational 1v1 player, and he uses that pace and power, and he's a penetrator. So it's more about getting everyone ready to compete. And games are 90 minutes and sometimes extra time, and you got 5 substitutes. So this tournament for me is very different. This tournament is about having everyone ready. Sometimes you're going to win the game in the second half, like we did in Denmark. Sometimes you're going to win the game in the last 15 minutes, like we did today. And I think you need to be able to have every player ready with different variations and different options. And Jeremy gives you clearly that.
Okay, thanks all. Thanks, coach.
Thank you,
we bring you Kevin De Bruyne as star of the match in a few moments. Thank you.